It's The Big Show, talking to my favourite people and the world's biggest stars, and they come no bigger than Jo Brand. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's really nice to talk to you again.
That's a complete lie, or do you mean size-wise?
No, don't be silly. Of course you are. You're one of my favourite people. You know this. We've met in the past. I'm sure you can't remember, but we've always got on very well, and I always find you very funny. It amazes me when I look on certain message boards and in this book that you've just released that not everybody likes Jo Brand. What's wrong with them?
Oh, I don't know. Are they ill in some way, possibly?
I've just been on holiday for 2 weeks in Greece, and I always take my laptop with DVDs, and what I'd been sent was the Mrs. Merton DVD, and there you were on the first one. How is it you look better now, 15 years later?
Yeah, I don't know. By the time I'm 90, I'm going to be gorgeous.
Do you enjoy doing these type of interviews? Because, I mean, obviously that's deliberately uncomfortable, isn't it? Something like Mrs. Merton. Would you rather be in character as Jo Brand on stage than having to talk to me sensibly like we're going to do for the next 3 hours?
I think it depends, because I think that one thing that people never take into account is what someone's mood is like when they're doing something, you know. And there are times when I've done TV or I've done radio, and for various reasons I was feeling absolutely terrible. So I'm kind of just going through the motions. And there are other days when I'm in a really good mood and I feel happy and I'm looking forward to the future, and they're fun. And so it kind of really depends on how you're feeling. I think you go onto automatic pilot sometimes, but I'm not doing that today.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, this could end in disaster. Is this a good day or a bad one?
Pretty good so far.
You've got this new book out, and it basically starts at the beginning of your professional career. I'm trying to get from it whether you loved doing comedy in these clubs, because they were damn hard work, weren't they?
Well, they were hard work, but I did love it. And what I liked about it was working with a group of other comics, and sort of particularly in some of the harder gigs, developing a kind of siege mentality directed at the audience and sort of supporting each other. But also, you know, there's nothing better as a stand-up than actually having great nights where you get really big laughs and encores and all that. And, you know, that didn't obviously happen every night at the beginning. In fact, it hardly happened at all for a bit, really. But once I started to kind of learn some little tricks and be a bit more confident, it was fantastic. Yeah, I loved it.
What kind of person were you at that time in your life? Because you've got to be incredibly cocky to think you can walk on a stage and suddenly have people enthralled with your humour.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever been a cocky person, but I think what I was I've always been competitive with men. I can't help it. I think it's my brother's fault, because I'm the middle child and I have an older and a younger brother who used to give me hell as a kid. And I think I kind of developed a very sort of competitive, a competitive approach really through them having kind of hit me with cricket bats and made me support West Ham and stuff like that. And so, you know, it was kind of a challenge to me really to see whether I could sort of be up there with the big boys, as it were.
When I look at the picture of you now, obviously you're far more glamorous, and you've obviously lost a lot of weight since the days when you were on stage. Oh, of course, look at this page. I mean, you've even had your hair done on the front of it. It's marvellous. I tell you what, it made me wonder was whether it was all just a cover. Were you crying in the inside about how you came across? Because, of course, a lot of your comedy is about your physicality, isn't it?
Yeah, the reason it was about that is, well, there are a couple of reasons. First of all, having kind of been fat from about the age of 15, 16, you know, I garnered a lot of like very negative comments on the street, as a lot of women do who aren't attractive for whatever reason it may be. And so, you know, they're very hurtful, because even though you are literally thick-skinned, you're not thick-skinned emotionally, and unless you've got a personality disorder, which I hope I haven't. So, you know, there was that kind of history of having had people have a go at me. And I know it wasn't just me, because I've kind of talked to friends who've had abuse on the street from blokes, and we all get it from time to time. And also, I knew I wasn't naive enough to think, as a stand-up who's a woman and who was fat, that I could go on stage and they would just ignore that. So I knew I was going to get it in the neck for that on stage. So in a way, I just had to be prepared for it.
Graham Norton calls me the ugliest man on the radio, and he's right to do so. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. Why were you so big? Was it covering up something, or did you just like eating?
Well, it was a combination of things. I mean, I do like eating, and I'm sure there's a portion control issue in my life. But not only was it that when I was 16, I went on the pill, and for some reason, I've no idea why, in 6 months I put on 3 stone, and I wasn't kind of eating more. I was just eating the same, so it was the pill's fault to some extent. And then I thought, well, if I stop taking the pill, it'll all miraculously melt away, and of course it never did.
It's a good comic ruse, though, isn't it, to go on stage and have something to talk about before you even get into your material. Did it work to your advantage? I mean, it immediately made people warm to you because you kind of knocked them down before they knocked you.
Yeah, that was what I tried to do. Putting on loads of weight wasn't a comic ruse, can I just tell you? It was just what happened.
Yeah. And of course, then you went and lost it all again, and now you're delicious, if you don't mind me saying so.
I do mind you saying.
Well,
no, I'm only joking. I don't mind you saying it at all. I haven't lost it all. What are you on about?
Well, honestly, I mean, when I look at you now on the TV and I look back at those Mrs. Merton days and even the pictures in the book.
Have you got a picture of someone different?
No, honestly, Joe. Look, I'm looking at your book. I've got it here in front of me. When I look at page 115, I mean, you were literally 115 stone.
I was 114 stone, I'll have you know. Thank you very much.
Was there a point, though, when you wanted to glam up? But that's basically what I'm asking.
Oh, for heaven's sake, no, there wasn't.
Oh, right,
no,
so it just happened by accident.
Well, no, I think the thing is that actually, you know, women lie along a continuum, and a lot of women couldn't give a toss about what they look like. And up the other end of the continuum, women are obsessed with how they look. Now, I'm somewhere quite near the other that couldn't give a toss end, really. I'm not that bothered about it. And, you know, but that's not to say if I'm going out, I won't sort of put a bit of makeup on, because you can still try.
Yeah, make the best of a bad job like myself.
Indeedy.
Let me play a piece of music and we'll come back with Joe Brand, one of my favourite people. A new book's out now. It's called Can't Stand Up for Sitting Down.